from the All Indiana Podcast Network.
It's time for real conversation about the real issues that affect our communities.
Poverty, education, equality, and more.
This is Real Talk.
Real Talk with Reverend Charles Harrison.
Welcome to Real Talk on the All Indiana Podcast Network, and this is Reverend Charles Harrison. And on today's episode, we're going to be talking about one of the business owners in Indianapolis, on the west side of Indianapolis, Greg Nelson, who was the owner of Paul & Malls on 26th and MLK. He was killed the other day, and I'm going to be talking to one of the pastors in the community, Reverend Richard Willoughby, who is the pastor of Promised Land Christian Church, about what happened and what is that impact on the neighborhood.
They say opposites attract. That's why the Sleep Number Smart Bed is the best bed for couples. You can each choose what's right for you, whenever you like. You like a bed that feels firm, but they want soft? Sleep Number does that. You want to sleep cooler, while they like to feel warm. Sleep Number does that too. Sleep Number Smart Beds also learn how you sleep and provide you with personalized insights to help you sleep even better. You have to feel it to believe it. Find the bed that's for both of you, only at a Sleep Number store. 9 out of 10 couples say they sleep better on a Sleep Number Smart Bed. Time to catch some Z's. J.D. Power ranks Sleep Number number 1 in customer satisfaction with mattresses purchased in-store. And now during Sleep Number's biggest sale of the year, save 50% on the Sleep Number Limited Edition Smart Bed, plus special financing for a limited time. For J.D. Power 2023 award information, visit jdpower.com/awards. Only at a Sleep Number store or sleepnumber.com. See store for details.
Temp check. What kind of summer are we having this year? A family road trip summer? A beach bum summer? Or a wake me up when the sun sets summer? With Instacart, choose your own adventure and skip the shopping side quests. Where available, you can get ice cream delivered to your hotel, sunscreen to the pool, or cold brew to your bed. Well, door, in as fast as 30 minutes. Wherever you find yourself this summer, you can get the goods. Download Instacart for free delivery on your first 3 orders. Offer valid for a limited time. Minimum $10 per order. Excludes restaurants. Additional terms and fees apply.
Welcome to Real Talk on the All Indiana Podcast Network, and I'm Reverend Charles Harrison, and thank you so much for joining us today on this podcast on Real Talk. I'm Reverend Charles Harrison, and I have a very special guest with me today, Reverend Richard Willoughby, who is the pastor of Promised Land Christian Church. We had a homicide in our neighborhood just a few days ago. George Nelson, who is the owner of Promised Land who is the owner of Mall and Paul's, restaurant, sells barbecue there. And my family has been going to that barbecue spot for a while. When he was over on 34th and College, my wife and my daughter would go there every Sunday, Reverend Willoughby, after church and get barbecue from that location and, other things that they would pick up for Sunday dinner for us. Well, on Wednesday, he was shot and killed, and there was a dispute that he had with a contractor who was doing some work on the building, and there was a dispute about money. And from what we have heard from law enforcement and also on the news, the person who is the suspect shot and killed George because the suspect wanted all of the money up front to do the work, and George was only willing to pay him half the money, then do the work, and then pay him the rest once the job was completed. An argument ensued, and the suspect shot George several times in the chest, and he later died at the hospital. A great tragedy in the neighborhood, and it is the second community leader that has been killed in the last few months in the city. And people are wondering, what does that mean? What does it mean in the community now that community leaders are not even safe from the violence that we're seeing in the city? So, Reverend Willoughby, let's have a conversation about this, because certainly this impacts the community. I know in I think it's called the Near Northwest area now, it used to be Unwa. We have really struggled, to keep businesses in the neighborhood. And I know where Paul and Malls is now, used to be Down Home Cooking. We used to meet there a lot and have meetings and have lunch and stuff. And, they left the neighborhood because of the issue of crime. We lost the grocery store, but now we have a used tar shop in that location. The bank left the neighborhood, and a lot of businesses have been torn down. So, I was excited about the fact that he had made an investment to come into the neighborhood and open up a business, and maybe it would be the start of a comeback for that part of the city. But now he's been killed. I'm hopeful that his family will keep the business going. But what is that impact on the community, and what are you hearing and people talking about based on what just happened?
Well, I think it's pitiful that if anybody is killed or murdered, we certainly, like you said, for 30 years, I know I've been going to get Ma and Paul's, and most of the people that he tried to hire out of the community.
That's right.
And so he was certainly a stabilization in the community, and he was had humanitarian aspects about him. So we really think that it just affects so many other people. How many businesses, just like they're talking about, new businesses will come in with the idea of hiring people from the community, trying to create jobs that they can walk to.
Right.
They live in the community, they can walk in the community. So I think it's pretty terrible. It's about respect, and not they bite in the hand that feeds them.
Right.
Because even they torched my bus last week. They burned up my big bus, and they're investigating it right now. My pantry will be open this Saturday, and I'll probably find out who did it. But they have no more respect. It's about respect. They don't have no respect. Here you are, you feeding the people in the community, clothing them naked, doing what you're supposed to do, and then those same people turn around and try to destroy you.
Right.
I mean, and some of it has to do with the way they think, because I'm a construction worker, and I used to do things on the side. Why would you expect somebody to pay you for a job you haven't done? Where does that mentality come from? Because
I think Pastor, a lot of the smaller businesses don't have the capital up front,
right?
So they're trying to make money and also get the money to buy the material to do the work.
Yeah, and that's why you ask for 50%.
Yeah.
You ask for 50%, and that you use that to go buy the material.
Yes.
Do it. So most of the time, I even take the people I'm doing the job for with me to buy the stuff, so they can see how much it costs.
I think what he wanted was the 50% for the material and the money that he was going to get for doing the job, because he probably needed that money, which is what probably led to the argument and then eventually him shooting and killing George.
But do you know what? Had he told him,
right,
he might have gave him 75%.
Right.
He might have went and bought the material and said, here, you're going to do the job for $500. I'm going to give you another $150 because I know you broke and Right. I want you to be able to eat and all of that. You couldn't negotiate, but you got to be upfront about it.
Right.
It was senseless.
Right.
I guarantee you that had they talked about it, that's the problem with the young people. They so much texting each other, but they don't have real social involvement with each other. You know, your kid will text you and you can be right upstairs. You can be in the same room and he'll text you because that's the way we allowed them to be raised. And they need to learn how to communicate with each other. They have no communication skills. So what did he do? He resorted to only way he knows how to solve a problem is with a gun. He ain't been taught to sit down and, okay, let's talk about this. Let's negotiate. Had he done that, probably would have gave him 75%. Wouldn't nobody had to be killed. Could have finished the job and had enough money in his pocket to go try to do the next job.
But isn't that the problem that we're having now, Pastor Willoughby? Is that people are not resolving these conflicts in nonviolent ways, and it seems like violence is the way, that people are handling now. And unfortunately, we're having more and more people killed from these interpersonal conflicts. Someone was asking me the other day, about the violence, and I said, we're really not having a lot of gang violence at all anymore, or clique violence. Most of the violence that we're having now is either drug-related or this large number of interpersonal conflict violence and domestic violence. Is those three. And here is a case where, George gets in this dispute, and instead of this guy doing what you just said he should have did, he shoots and kills him and goes on about his business, and the police end up catching him on the far east side of town. And this is a concern, today. You can't have an argument or a conflict with anyone, sometimes even a conversation, without people getting mad now and pulling out guns.
Yes. I mean, a few years ago, just like that guy, I think it was on 71st, I'm not sure, but it was on Michigan Road. A guy shot another guy for mean mugging him. And I think that means he just looked at him, what he thought was crazy, and he shot him, just looked at him in the wrong way. Right. He shot him for looking at him the wrong way. Right. So I think the guy that I heard the other day, he's a coach player that's trying to teach him at grade school level how to have interpersonal skills, like you said, to talk with each other, because it has to be taught at a lower level, because these skills are not going to happen when they're 19, when they're 20. Once they get out of school, it's almost probably too late. And the other day on the Bible class, listen, because somebody said people and rich people this, rich people that. I said, listen, it's all about parenting. It don't make no difference if you're born in Carmel, whether you're born in Unwall, whether you're born in Hallville. It's how your parents have taught you. Right. And that teaching, train up a child in the way it should go, and when it's old, it will not depart. And we're not training our children. We're not giving them the skills they need to communicate with one another. We buying them iPhones, and we buying them games they play on TV and all of that.
That's
but we ain't making them read no books. Ask my daughter at 8 what book she reads.
At 8 years old,
What book she read?
Well, one of the things I'm noticing too is they don't picking up skills. When we were kids, I would go out of the house after eating breakfast in the morning. I would be out playing with other kids all day, come home, get something for lunch, then go back out, then come home for dinner. But what you learn is you learn social skills. When you're out playing with other kids, you learn how to resolve conflicts. When you're out playing with other kids, but kids are not doing that today. They're not out like we were, they don't socialize. the way we did. And I'm not for sure if they know how to socialize because of all the technology today.
Yes.
So that when they're in a conflict, they don't know how to handle it because they haven't learned the social skills in handling conflicts with other people.
Yes, we handled our own disputes among our friends.
Yes.
We didn't go home and tell mama. Because if you went home and told mama and daddy, you might have to stay in the house.
That's right.
We didn't want to stay in the house.
That's right.
We wanted to go outside and play. That's true. But how many drive from here and go up Shadeland, and how many swing sets and all of that we see in the backyards of these old school houses, and in one child on.
That's true. That's true.
I did that one time, and I said, these kids don't play no more.
No, they don't.
They don't shovel snow. They don't make a snowman. They don't do nothing we used to do.
Yeah.
We used to have fun.
So then you don't learn it as a child. You go through. You don't know it as a juvenile teenager. Then you become an adult, and you still don't have those skills.
Right.
So that when you get into a dispute, you get angry. And you act on your impulses. Yes. Your emotions.
And we know the natural nature without Christ, what that is. We are in the flesh, what we call in the flesh. And the flesh ain't gonna do nothing. Right. You
Absolutely.
have to be taught. You have to be taught and train that. It's simple. Train up a child. I mean, and we're making it difficult because we are not doing that. Even now today, in marriages, we talked about that. We got just as many divorces in the church as we got in society. Because we're not being taught and trained according to the scriptures and the way it is. Now, I'm going to always fall back on Christianity. I'm a pastor. I can't. That's all that's in me. But I know that what the flesh will do without the Spirit of God.
Are you concerned about Ron G. getting killed, who was a community activist, of a anti-violence group, Ceasefire. He was just killed, a month or two ago. Now you have, George Nelson being killed. Are you concerned as a leader that a line has been crossed and that even those of us leaders are susceptible to this kind of violence, that there's no respect even for us that they'll pull the gun out and shoot you or me.
Yes, and I really have a problem with that, especially since they just came over and burnt my bus down.
Okay.
I mean, the police we can't even have the trash hauled away until they get through with their investigation. And I probably, like I said, I'll find out Saturday probably who did it, because we have our food pantry and people come in and they just tell us stuff. But they have crossed the line. Our churches used to be like a Switzerland in the neighborhood. They would do what they do, but they wouldn't bother the church. Because they knew if they got real low, they could come to your church, my church, and get fed. They could come to my church or your church and find clothing. They could find at least this necessity that they needed to survive. And they sort of said, okay, we're gonna do this, AB, but don't bother the church. Don't bother grandma up on the porch and all that. Now it's changed. We got a new generation out there, and they will give violence, perform violence on anyone. That's all they know. See, we've been trained and taught differently. We knew how to play. We knew how to do whatever it was. These kids, I don't know. I don't want to put no tag on them, but it's got to change. Something has got to happen, and we got to start getting them real. Somebody even told me, said, it's too late for this generation. And I said, what do you mean it's too late? Said they over 20 years old, and they won't listen to nobody. They won't, anything you tell them, they it used to be they respect gray hair. Now they talk about it. They don't look at us as people of wisdom and that can direct them in the right way. They want to do their own thing.
Well, I became concerned. I've been doing 10-point, for about 25 years. I say 10 years ago, 8 years ago was the first time that I felt like I was being threatened in the community, and it was if people did not want me to have a voice, when it came to the violence, because they disagreed with me, and there were some from the underground economy who saw me as a threat, to what they were doing. So there were threats, made against me that, if I didn't stop or hush, that something could happen to me. I think this is the first time, in our history where we have generations of African Americans who don't have that kind of respect for clergy and community leaders, and elected officials. When we were kids, we looked up to them, we looked up to them, but today they don't, and they'll pull the gun out on you and me like they would anyone else. And I'm not for sure, Pastor Willoughby, how we address that, the fact that you're willing to shoot this business owner in front of his own business, in front of his family, and you're going to shoot him, get in your car, and go on about your business.
Exactly, and knowing you're going to get caught.
Yes.
No, you think all them people all you do let you kill this man, and they respect this man, right, and they know what this man was doing for the community, right. That's why mental health. Mental health issues probably come into play too, and I know people don't like to blame the mental health for that, and I'm not saying that, but it's something wrong.
Well, there's something wrong.
Something wrong with that person.
There's something wrong. Yeah,
there's something wrong, and that's just the way it is. Now we say, "Here come Pastor Daly." Stop.
That's right.
And we all stand up.
That's right.
And we be standing at attention.
That's right.
When Pastor Daly went down to St. Paul.
That's right.
St. Paul Baptist Church. I stayed on 11th and Sheffield. We didn't do nothing until he went.
Till he left.
Until he was gone.
Yeah, till he was gone. That's the way we do. That's what we did.
But
yes.
Yeah. And we respect. That's gone.
That's gone.
That's gone. Now, where did it go? It come from it got to do with parenting. The first stop is the household.
Okay. So you think it starts at
home.
At home, and we got to start at a young age with this younger generation. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, it's got to be taught in him, because there are certain things I wouldn't do before I joined church.
Right.
I didn't know nothing. I wasn't in church. I was down the street from one.
Right.
I used to go to Reverend Daly's church because a deacon, Blackman, would pay me to show up.
Right.
And I wanted to make that 50 cents every week.
Okay.
And I show up at Sunday school, and if I stayed for church, he gave me another quarter. I wanted to make, and then you can get a whole pocket full of candy for 50 cents. And so I showed up because he paid me to go to church. And, but before I joined church, I didn't join church till I was in my 20s. And before I joined, there's just certain things I wouldn't do.
Do you think the voices of clergy could have an impact today?
Yes.
You still think we could? Okay.
If we would come together.
Okay.
If we would stop arguing among ourselves.
Okay.
If we would work together, and they say that Indianapolis is the graveyard for preachers. We got that. I don't know how we got that. That's what people were telling me 30 years ago when I first started preaching. 45 years ago, because my daughter's 45. Graveyard preachers. We can't work together.
Okay.
All of that. We need to get rid of that dynamic and start working together, because we care about people and care about the community. I don't care that's why Faith in Indiana works so well. Right. Because it's not denominational. Right. And we don't care. You don't even have to go to church to belong to that. Right. But anyway, we have to stop worrying about Democrat, Republican, and worry about the issues. I always say it, and I didn't know this, but I tell my people that I'm not trying to turn this state from red to blue. I'm trying to turn it purple. Right. Where red or blue don't matter. Right. But I didn't know that Obama said that in his first speech.
Okay.
I didn't know that until the other day, that they was catching me on the update that we're not Democrats or Republicans, we're Americans.
Right.
We need to understand that we're Christians and we're not United Methodists, we're not Baptists. Leave our doctrine for Sunday, but our issues, let's take care of the community.
But someone would ask, and they may say, well, pastors, the young people are not going to listen to y'all today. The millennials, the Gen Z, they're not going to listen to y'all today. They're not going to listen to y'all, on the streets, who are the ones that are doing the shooting and involved in the criminal activity. What would you say to that? Is that that the church is disconnected from the community now, and that they're not going to listen to what y'all have to say?
Well, I got an idea about how they will listen. I just don't have the resources.
Okay.
But some people had the resources. I guarantee you, if you told them that everybody under 50 that shows up on Sunday morning, every 10th person, I'm going to give them a new iPhone.
Right.
I bet you show up.
They'll show up.
They'll show up. I'm going to give one of them video games. I'm going to have a raffle for a video game every Sunday. Your church will be full.
Right. That's true.
They'll be trying to get there and get that free game. And if that's what it takes, do it. I just don't have the resources. I told I said, if I had $100 million, that's what listen, we'd be giving out iPhones every Sunday, and at least they would hear.
Right.
They may not succumb to it, but at least they would hear. And then in the dogma of the Baptist Church, we used to hang it up on the wall. It said to religiously educate our children. How many people are we actually sending to college? Well, how much tuition are we paying?
Yeah, and that's true. And I don't know how many churches are given to the United Negro College. Mm-hmm. We have that and our own college fund. But I think the question I was asked yesterday, as I did several press interviews yesterday, was the whole question, Pastor, can y'all reach the gang members? Can y'all reach the drug dealers? Can y'all reach that segment of the population that has a greater propensity of committing a violent crime, like the gentleman who shot and killed George? And my question was, he had his own business. So what would cause someone like him with his own business to commit this kind of heinous crime? And would they have been on our radar screen in the first place? Because, if you got a construction company, right. You wouldn't be someone I would be targeting, with 10 points. It don't make sense, But is there a greater spiritual problem in the community that we need to try to address as the church that leads to this kind of senseless violence?
Right, because he don't fit the demographic.
Right.
Somebody that's going to kill somebody.
Right.
Especially if he's smart enough to start his own business.
Right.
You would think you would not think he would do that. But yes, you can but you got to catch him before the act. You got to be able to communicate to him before the act. You can reach him. I found out a lot of times the grandmothers, I bet you his grandma raised him. Even if he did not do the right thing, I guarantee you could have got to him. Had you known, like you said, he don't fit the demographics. Had you known, I think you could have talked to him and could have reached him, because you could have told him, say, listen, that guy's 56 years old. He's old school. If you need some money, just tell him.
Right.
Somebody needed to tell him that.
Right.
He didn't know that he could have got 75%. He just knew that he ain't had no food at home, or whatever reason that he needed this money, or he had no gas in his car or something. And he resorted to violence because he probably felt like, I'm going to do the job, pay me. But that's the wrong way. But had somebody knew that he was going to do this, I guarantee you that if you knew his grandmother or you knew his family, you could have talked him down.
Well, you just said something, Pastor Willoughby. He did not fit the demographic.
Right.
Is this more widespread, this mindset,
Yes.
than we even think? That I'm out here trying to survive. I don't have no money, and I need all the money.
Yeah.
And if you don't give it to me,
Right.
I'm gonna do this to you.
Right.
How widespread is that within our community?
Yes.
That we have to find some way to try to at least address it, where arguments, disagreements now lead to people being violently injured or killed.
Right. Because think about it. This guy, he's probably caught already. It's sitting there. That's like you saying, I'm going to go to Speedway, and the owner of Speedway might come out there and kill me, and I'm buying gas from him.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's so insane, you would not even think that way.
Right.
But here's a guy, got a business, making money. He killed somebody.
Right.
And now he's going to spend the rest of his life in prison.
I know.
The mentality don't even make sense. So it has to be with his mentality that was already there in his thinking when he grew up.
Well, that's the problem I think we have in the community.
Yes.
When you start thinking about why is homicide the leading cause of death for men 44 and under. I heard something the other day. I hope it's not true, that it was 55 and under for black men. So homicide now is the leading cause of death. So what's going on within us black men that are causing us to do violence toward one another?
I'm gonna say something that's gonna be very controversial.
Okay, you're gonna be
very controversial.
You're gonna be very controversial. Okay,
because
okay,
and I know single women.
Oh, okay, you're gonna go there, Reverend Willoughby. Okay,
they are doing an excellent job. I was raised by a single mother, and I'm not a career criminal.
Okay,
so we can't blame it on single mothers. Right. But I heard somebody say let's get the psychologists involved.
Okay,
because men are being raised mostly by single women households.
Okay.
Their emotional self is being jacked up.
Okay.
Because I read in the Bible
that the emotional self of young men is being jacked up.
Being messed up.
Okay.
Because women will act out of emotion.
Okay.
And that's why men have their roles in the marriage.
Okay.
Women have their role.
Okay.
Women are supposed to teach you how to be affectionate.
Okay.
How to be loving, how to be kind, how to have intimacy and all of that.
Right.
And the father's supposed to teach you how to cut grass. He's supposed to teach you how to fix a roof. He's supposed to teach you man stuff.
Right.
That's the way it was.
Right.
And so they in these women households, and they got their emotional self all jacked up because they got the woman side in them, in a man, but they ain't got the man part.
Okay, that tends to be less emotional, less reactive. Okay, that's what you're trying to say. Okay. And so we're seeing this emotional side now from men that leads to these violent acts.
Yes.
Okay.
They just acting out of emotion.
I've had several men tell me that's what they believe that is the, not to blame women.
No.
But
they're doing the best they can.
Yeah, because mothers are being mothers. But yet that young men need that other side too.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
And that's why we need more mentors. We need more people standing beside.
Right.
This young man in our church, he had a mentor. He lived out in Carmel. The guy ended up he doing so well. His mentor gave him a truck. Just gave him a truck.
Right.
And he ain't even had to buy a truck.
Right.
He did like you treated him like he was a son.
Right.
Like you would, you're a 16-year-old. You're trying to figure out what kind of car, where I can get him so he can drive around, so you don't have to carry him all these places. But we need more mentors.
Right.
We need the men in the church not just to be concerned about their families, but be concerned about the community.
Right.
And it used to be 100 black men. They need to be built up.
Right.
And we need more mentors out in society to help these young boys and help these single mothers, help these boys become men. What a man really. It used to be, not anymore. You see all these young boys living off of these women.
Right.
We wouldn't do that. Right. We were taught we were supposed to take care of the family. Right. The man is supposed to be the king of the castle. He's supposed to bring the food in and all of that, and get the money to the woman and let her manage it and all of that. If she was a smart accountant or whatever. But these men now, they'll lay around on their mothers, their grandmothers, they won't have no job.
Because that's what they see.
That's
That's what
it's in them.
Yeah, that's what they see. That's what they see. That's what they see. Well, thank you so much, Reverend Willoughby, at this conversation today. We, had another one of our community leaders killed this week in the city of Indianapolis. It's been a very violent week. We have had 7 people killed this week, either in Indy or Lawrence. And the week is not over yet. We still have, a few more days during this week, but we're still on pace for 200 plus homicides for the 5th year in a row. Hopefully we can slow it down before the end of the year, but certainly we have to continue to work hard to end all of this senseless violence. Our prayers go out to George Nelson's family during this very difficult time in their life. And I heard last night on the news that the daughter is going to continue the business. Oh, so that the family is going to continue the business and keep it there.
Some barbecue.
Yeah, that's right. Go there this weekend. On Sunday, they're having a balloon release for George. So it gives us time to get out of church and go over there for that celebration in remembrance of George and the life that he lived, and to be supportive of the family. Thank you so much for joining me today on Real Talk. I want to thank my guest, my good friend, Pastor Richard Willoughby of Promised Land Christian Church, for joining me in this conversation. This is Real Talk, and every week I try to bring you real talk about real issues that affect our communities here in Indianapolis and across the country. Be sure to follow and subscribe to this podcast and share it on Facebook and Twitter. This is Reverend Harrison. I pray that you have a blessed and awesome day and week. I'll see you again next Friday. Peace.
This is Real Talk with Reverend Charles Harrison.
Be sure to like and subscribe to this podcast.
And be sure to check out other great podcasts on the All Indiana Podcast Network.
Online now at allindianapodcast.com.